What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm here to review another episode of Tyler Perry's Sistas. Yes, this show is back. We are at the mid-season point, and baby, let's get right into it because Tyler, please stop playing in our face. So let's get right into the review. This is Season 6, Episode 12, and the episode is titled Daydreams. And baby, we started off with an entire daydream for sure because we see Karen with the gun. She shoots it. Now, y'all, I hate the special effects that they use on this show because that little mist of fire that they had coming out of the gun, I cannot take it seriously. Nonetheless, Karen shoots Fatima. Fatima is laying there on the ground, not a speck of blood on her blue suit, but here comes Andy screaming, Zach screaming, all this commotion is happening, right? And you can tell that it is absolutely fake. There's no way that this could have happened. And next thing you know, we hear Karen, she basically snaps out of it because Andy is like, girl, why are you here? What are you doing here? Now, Andy, you just heard this entire conversation over the phone. You know why Karen is here. Karen, she is ready to knuck if she is buck. She is ready to fight. So I'm going to need for you to stop pretending as if you don't know that information. So like I said, that whole little scene that hyped us up, it was all a dream. And here's the thing. You have Zach rolling up or whatever, and he's like telling Fatima that she needs to go back to work. He's going to stay here until she's done with work. And I'm just like, Zach, you need a hobby. Like, really, nigga, you need a job. Because you mean to tell me that you're going to sit at this woman's job all day just so that she doesn't go after Karen? That sounds crazy. Like, I get it, these women are beefing, but what is that going to do? That's not clearing the air. That's not even making the situation better. And also, why do you have that much time on your hands that you can just sit around and wait for Fatima to get done? Yeah, get you something to do, Zach. So, Karen, she questions if these two saw the test results or whatever that prove that this is Zach's baby. And they are like, you really want to talk about this right now? Like, yeah, we saw it, and so what? Like, they were not giving Karen the energy that she wanted, and you can clearly see that. So, Karen, she's like, okay, well, you was walking all up in my house, and Fatima apologized for that. It says that actually she wanted to talk to Karen woman to woman. I said, now, Fatima, I don't know why you would want to do that, because there's no talking to Karen. Karen has lost her mind. She's off her rocker. There is no talking to Karen at this point. So, Karen, she's like, oh, I get it. Y'all trying to be nice right now because you don't want me up in Zach's pockets. But this is his baby, and this baby is going to get everything it deserves. And I'm just thinking, y'all, didn't baby girl already sign the child support papers? I could have swore Karen already signed those papers. So I'm just like, girl, what else is the child going to get? Also, let's also not forget that this man has another child. So whatever money that you might think you're going to get is about to be split in half. And also, Zach don't even have an income. So don't even get me started. What money you think you about to get, you probably ain't going to get it. Okay? Nonetheless, Zach and Fatima, they end up walking away. Now, Karen, she's telling Andy, listen, you need to pick a side. Of course, Andy's like, no, I'm not going to pick a side. I like you both. Why would I pick a side, Karen? And it's just like, girl, just say that at this moment, you are not really rocking with Karen. Just say it. Because it's obvious that you have made a choice. Even though you're trying to stay as neutral as possible, according to you, you're not really rocking with the decisions that Karen has been making lately. So, Karen, she's like, listen, you not choosing is you making a choice, and you're on Fatima's side. And I'm just like, can we please get these two ladies to break up and not be friends? Now, y'all, I know we want to see the friend group, but I think that it would actually serve a purpose if these two ladies, they are no longer friends, and then they have to find their way back to each other. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, friends fall out. So why not have Karen and Andy, who are supposed to be tight like glue, why not have them fall out and then figure out a way to bring them back together? I think that's far more interesting. But nonetheless, Karen, she's over it. But baby, next thing you know, here comes Pam and Aaron. They pop up out the blue because they are so concerned with Karen. So Karen is like, y'all follow me here. How dare you? Don't follow me again, because now she about to storm out. I'm just like, y'all really didn't waste gas to go follow Karen around. Y'all were better than me. Because once I found out that she was going to Andy's office, I'm going to let that be Andy's problem. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Let Andy handle that. I know they got security at the law office. So, you know, it is what it is. But nonetheless, they are so concerned for Karen and her well-being. Karen is not concerned for her well-being. So why are you? So Pam, after Karen walks away, she's like, do you think that smoke damaged her brain? Girl, absolutely. It has taken Karen over the top. Because I'm still stuck on the fact that Karen played with y'all. Every last one of y'all. And y'all accepted it. Because y'all should have called her out. Karen acted like her phone didn't work. She let all y'all think that she burned up in her shop just for her to pop up to be like, yeah, I'm all right, but I see all y'all crying now. Like, who does that? Like, for real, who does that, Karen? So Andy, she's like, why are y'all here? And I'm just like, Andy, you've been standing right here. They just explained why they're here. Because they were concerned that your friend was going to do something stupid. And then she has the audacity. Like, Andy, oh my gosh, she gets on my nerves. Andy has the audacity to be like, so how'd you guys know that she would be here? And they were like, we heard her on the phone. So she's like, you can't be listening to her conversations and all this stuff. And I'm just like, Andy, please chill out. Because let's not act like you weren't listening to the same conversation. Yeah, you sat there on silent, but you were still listening in on a conversation that had nothing to do with you. So not you trying to be the pot calling the kettle. So now everybody's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on with Karen. I've never seen her like this. And Pam is like, something about her being grouchy, right? She mentioned that Karen was grouchy. Here comes Andy. You can't say that. That's your boss. Girl. So you mean to tell me that she can't call this woman grouchy when that's exactly what she is? And also, Pam is more than just an employee of Karen. Actually, Pam has been there for Karen far more than you have, Andy. So again, I'm going to need for you to pipe down. So Aaron, he wants to have this conversation with Andy, right? So they done kicked my girl Pam to the curb or whatever. And I thought it was hilarious when she was like, yeah, y'all try to treat me bad because I'm not one of the sisters. I said, let me find out season 7. They gonna make Pam one of the sisters. Because I would not even be mad. Hell, I think she might got a lot more going on in her life than these heifers. But nonetheless, Aaron pulls, Andy to the side to talk about how Karen's behavior is, it's off the chain. And nobody has ever seen Karen like this. They think that maybe it might be because she's pregnant. Nobody knows what's going on. Now, here's the kicker. I don't even care about none of that. For me, it was Aaron saying that it was his baby. And let me tell you something. Andy was so confused because Karen, her bestie, has been running around the city telling anybody who will listen that this is Zach's baby. So now Andy, she's questioning how did Aaron get these results, right? But here's my thing. Last time I checked, Zach had never submitted any type of sample to the hospital, right? And if I'm not mistaken, Aaron did. So to me, it makes logical sense for Aaron to have received those results, because if he's the only sample that you have to test, why would Karen be the only person who got the answers? Like, why would she be the only person who got the results? Like, it doesn't make sense, Andy. Like, if his sample is getting tested, I'm pretty sure he had to be notified. But of course, Andy's trying to hold his feet to the fire like, oh yeah, it's because you have a friend that works there. Girl, that is not even the issue. The issue here is that your best friend is out here running around the city lying, saying that this ain't this man's baby because she wants it to be Zach's baby. So, Andy, she does not want to have this conversation anymore with Aaron. She's like, listen, if you want to talk about you and that baby, you gonna talk to Karen. I said, okay, fine, let's go ahead. Wrap this scene on up because it's lasted a bit too long for my liking anyways. All right, y'all, let's slide on over to Sabrina and Calvin. They are waiting on this lawyer to show up. They are, I believe, at the jail waiting for Maurice or whatever they're trying to do with Maurice. And I did not realize that the costume designer for this episode decided to put everybody, or should I at least say the women in this show, in like some really nice suits, because you have Sabrina in a suit, you have Andy, of course, and Fatima. I'm just like, okay, I see what you're doing. But nonetheless, let's get to the storyline. Now, according to Sabrina, she has been blowing up this lawyer. He ain't answering. And Calvin questions like, okay, so do you still trust your little African homeboy? He doesn't want to say Bio's name. However, Sabrina, she's like, he has a name. And I'm just like, girl, take some of that bass out your voice. Nonetheless, Sabrina refuses to believe that Bio could be homophobic and could have told the lawyer to not show up. So Sabrina is over here stressed out, okay? Because it's been an hour and a half. The man ain't answering. He was supposed to have been there. Maurice is in there confessing. And I'm just like, well, girl, at this point, you just need to let it go. Like, at this point, you just need to go ahead and accept the fact that your homeboy Maurice, he decided to take the bid for you, okay? Like, we need to go ahead and wrap this storyline right on up because it actually makes no sense whatsoever. Like, it makes no sense that Bio, because he likes Sabrina, he would bail Maurice out. But I'm just like, but you knew who Maurice was. You met Sabrina at the bank. Like, I'm pretty sure you saw Maurice in the background. You knew that he was gay. Stop playing. Like, I don't know why Tyler tried to make it seem like that was Bio's first encounter with Maurice ever. You know what I'm saying? After he bailed him out. Make that make sense. But y'all, let's get back to the story at hand. Now, previously, just like 15 seconds ago in this show, Sabrina is like, we just need to wait on the lawyer, right? So here comes Calvin saying, maybe I jumped the gun. We just need to wait. Now she want to spaz out on him and be like, wait, what are we waiting for? I'm just like, bitch, you just said. Like, I'm sorry. But Sabrina, you just said that you need to wait on the lawyer. The fact that now Calvin is saying it, now you want to go do something? Now you want to try to go fight for Maurice? You've been sitting there for an hour and a half already. Like, Maurice has already confessed. There's nothing more to say. So Calvin is like, we can sit here longer because we ain't got nothing else to do. And Sabrina is like, well, no, you got something to do. You have a job. Now, y'all, I was hella confused because why did Calvin say, I told you I already took care of that? Nigga, you took care of what? Because what you not about to do is play in my face and make it seem like you done took your funny looking ass down to the bank to try to fight for her job back. Because even if you did, she still ain't gonna be working there no more. So did you get her a job at your construction company or whatever you got going on? Because what did you handle? What did you take care of, sir? Now, according to Calvin, he got Sabrina. Now, y'all, I'm trying to figure out how. Because, sir, you not rolling in dough like that. You literally were broke because you had to move in with Maurice, okay? You had to move in with him. You said that you were sending all your money to your other dad, who was still alive. What money do you have to even keep her afloat? Like, make it make sense, sir. So Sabrina, she's like, Maurice, he's just been in there for so long. And I'm just like, well, girl, he's going to be in there. Like, he not coming out to kick it. If that man went in there to confess to a crime, you think he just about to walk right on out the doors? Y'all, come on, we got to give Sabrina a brain. Like, I don't know if she need to go see the Wizard of Oz or what, but somebody give the girl a brain, because she ain't got one. So, of course, she says her infamous line, "I don't like this." Tyler loves to write that because he has nothing else, no other dialogue for these people to use. And these two idiots, they just sit there. Now, let's slide on over to Maurice. So, y'all, we got to suffer through this scene where Maurice is saying that him and Q, they planned this whole thing out. He didn't know the other guys involved, and Sabrina had nothing to do with this. We have the man who was questioning him. I have no idea what his title is. However, he is so taken aback and confused that, number one, Sabrina has nothing to do with this. And secondly, that Maurice has come in, said his confession, and he's so confused as to like, oh my God, I can't believe it. You just told us what you did. Sir, if you don't put the cuffs on this man and take Maurice wherever you need to take him to book him, stop dragging this along. Because you literally have Maurice saying, all right, I just confessed. Y'all gonna drop the charges against Sabrina, right? And the man's like, no, that's not gonna work because you don't have any evidence. I'm sorry, Tyler, when was it ever the criminal's job to provide the evidence? Like, are we, y'all, are we all watching this confused, or is it just me? Because I'm just like, when has it ever been the criminal's job to provide the evidence? That is your job. You the detective. Y'all supposed to figure that out. Now here comes Hothead Logan or whatever. He's trying to chime in like, tell him what you told me. And it's like, he ain't told this man no different than what he told you. Logan, could you please stop trying to pin this on Sabrina? So the DA and Logan, they step outside, right? And this man is like, these people did not commit this crime, okay? I don't know why you trying to pin this on them, but they didn't do it. Yes, Maurice is out here lying to protect her, but at the same time, neither one of them are involved. You need to stop trying to, pin this on them. Logan is not trying to hear it. He is so adamant that Sabrina was involved. Sabrina was involved. I'm trying to figure out, what is his personal vendetta of Sabrina? Like, why are you trying to seek vengeance on her? Like, did she turn you down in middle school and she don't remember who you are now? I'm confused as to why you are so, adamant that Sabrina is the ringleader and she needs to go to jail. So the DA is like, listen, you over here trying to make chief, and this case ain't gonna cut it. So now the DA wants to have a conversation with Quincy. He tells Logan to bring him some real evidence and basically says that Maurice can go home. Y'all, I don't know in what world that may work, but let's just go ahead and play in Tyler Perry's fairy tale land. Alright, so we then move on to Andy. She's calling Danny, and number one, she started off with a dumb question. She gonna ask Danny, where is she at? Girl, where else would Danny be? Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but it's like, girl, you already know that Danny is at work. She works from 9 to 5 every day at the airport. Don't be asking stupid questions. So she's giving her the rundown on what went down earlier with Karen popping up to the office. So now Andy is oh so concerned with her bestie, Karen, that she feels like they need to pop up over to Karen's house yet again so that way they can have another sister circle moment. We don't need another one of those because it does not help Karen at all. So then Andy goes on to be like, she said that she's going to take Zach for everything that he has. This is his baby, blah, blah, blah. And Danny is like, oh, so that is his baby. I guess she done made a bet with Sabrina. But here's the catch. Aaron, of course, said that he was the daddy. So now the girls are just so confused. I'm with Danny. I think that, things have gone a little too far. And at this point, Karen is a lost cause. We need to go ahead and leave her where she at. Because honestly, if any of my friends will be playing in my face, talking about some, this guy's the dad, and then within the same day, I find out that he ain't the dad because it's another man, and she out here trying to pin this baby on somebody, it's too much. It is absolutely too much. But of course, the plan is for these ladies to meet up later at Karen's place. Let's go ahead and move on because Maurice ends up getting out of jail. So, of course, Sabrina, she's, relieved because her friend is getting out of jail. Now, here's the thing. Maurice is feeling some type of way because they didn't believe him. But Sabrina's like, no, we just gonna go figure this out. So Maurice is like, so he didn't show up. And of course, he's referring to the lawyer. And according to Maurice, Sabrina just has to accept the fact that Bio is homophobic and he basically set Maurice up to fail. Okay? Now, of course, Sabrina doesn't want to believe that, but for right now, she's saying that she does. Here's my whole thing about this situation. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that Tyler wrote it, that Bio bailed Maurice out, then for him to come back and be homophobic. And it's just like, what was the purpose of that? Like, I just feel like we could have got some more excitement somewhere else in this storyline. And it's just not really, it's just not really working out for me right now. Nonetheless, before they can actually leave, here comes Logan out the back talking about I know that it was you. I know that you're behind this. Talking to Sabrina. Logan, please go find something else to do. I am so over this scene. Let's go ahead and move on because we now have Gary and Hayden. They are meeting up at the law office. And honestly, I am so tired of seeing Gary at this office. Where is Gary's full-time job? Because I know that it's not coming to this office to hang out with Hayden and pretend to do work. But nonetheless, they're supposed to be going over some type of paperwork and Hayden is not paying attention because his mind is so stuck on Little Miss Thing, who he is married to now. Now, according to Gary, he needs to go ahead, shut this whole marriage down. However, Hayden, he's like, no, because I really liked her. Like, it was only for 2 weeks, but, I was really feeling this girl. And she came up with the idea for us to, stick it out for 6 months. And then we can see how we feel about each other. And Gary is like, absolutely not. Because you're going to give this 6 months and then it's going to turn into a year. And then next thing you know, you can't get an annulment and your dumb ass decided that you weren't going to get a prenup. So, sir, in your best interest, if you want to keep your money, you need to go ahead and get this annulment. So Gary ends up telling Hayden that Tamara is out here playing him. But for some reason, Hayden refuses to believe it. And I'm just like, at this point, let's just let Hayden stick it out with Tamara. Okay? This man says that this woman makes him happy. Let's just let them, do their thing. If she's a gold digger, let baby girl get to digging. Because I'm tired of Hayden and Gary. Because the way that they played in our face, especially when it came to Robin, and then for Robin to just immediately disappear, and we never saw that man again, makes absolutely no sense. But let's just slide on over to Andy, because baby girl's out here working, and next thing you know, who pops up? Gary. So he's basically here to call her out for being on dating sites. And he's seen it because someone supposedly sent it to him. And I'm just like, who is sending you information on Andy? Because let's call a thing here. Don't nobody know that you really with Andy. You don't take her out on dates. You don't take that woman out anywhere. So who would know that you're dating Andy? But I digress. Nonetheless, he basically tells her that she needs to be careful on this dating site because everything ain't what it seems. And here's my thing. I really don't have time for another session of Gary being jealous of other men when he basically pretended like he was okay with Robin being around. I want him to keep that same energy because we're tired. We all are tired of Gary and the Andy saga. However, I would not be surprised if Tyler writes it to where Andy goes on a date with some guy and Gary is the one who has to save her because, like Gary already warned her, there are some bad guys on this site and there are some lawsuits. Would not be surprised. But nonetheless, Fatima ends up showing up. She is fed up by the sight of Gary and she's trying to figure out why this man is here. So, of course, he talks about how he's there for Hayden. Sir, this ain't Hayden's office, so you need to find your way back on over there. She kicks him out or whatever, and the ladies talk about how neither one of them are interested in what anything Gary has to say, and Fatima is starting to question, like, so what did he say about that data site? I'm like, girl, you was really ear hustling because how did you hear him talk about this data site through that thick ass door? Nonetheless, Andy's like, I'm not going to go out with every guy on the site or whatever. So she's basically trying to say there's nothing to worry about. Now, speaking of worry, you have Fatima questioning if Andy is going to have a conversation with Karen because something ain't right with Karen. Now, Andy doesn't want to talk about Karen at all. However, Fatima is like, listen, did you look over the results of that DNA test because something doesn't look right on there? So she ends up handing the paperwork over to Andy and she's like, yeah, I printed it out. And according to the paper, it says that Aaron is not the father, even though it also doesn't say that Zach is the father because Zach never provided any type of sample. So you already know Andy is about to go into, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to try to lie to get my way out of this. You know what I'm saying? Like she always does. However, Fatima already catches on to Andy's antics and she's like, girl, spill it. What is going on? So what does blabbermouth Andy do? She lets the cat out the bag that Aaron has told her that he is possibly the father. And I'm just like, okay, here's the thing. Andy, you absolutely do not have any loyalty to Karen anymore. And this was not your place to tell anybody what Aaron had to say. Nobody. Because last time I checked, you didn't want to be involved. So what you should have done was just kept quiet. But no, you engaged in the conversation. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Aaron, he just magically found this information out. And these two ladies are like, it's probably that same person who told him that she was in the hospital. This is all illegal. And I'm like, yes, it absolutely is. However, the way Karen is playing these games, somebody got to figure out what's really going on around here. Nonetheless, you have Fatima. She's excited now because she's like, this ain't Zach, baby. I ain't got nothing to worry about. And for some reason, here comes Andy like, well, I mean, she's only been with 2 different guys, so as if Zach was still an option. I'm like, girl, I think you're missing the point, Andy. The point is that this is not Zach's baby. This is Aaron's problem to deal with. And Fatima and Zach can move on with their life. Now, I cannot lie, I was over it when Fatima tried to bring up the fact that there's a possibility of a third option because we don't know exactly who Karen has been sleeping with. But I'm just like, please don't throw that in as an idea for Tyler to keep adding on to this situation. But y'all, let's go ahead and move on because we see Danny. She is wrapping up from work. She's trying to leave. And here comes this man named Tony. And out of nowhere, he goes on to talk about how she likes all this different type of rap music and how he's taking notice of all this because they go to work at the same time and leave at the same time. And I guess he parked near her car. Now, what threw me off is the fact that he talked about so she be blasting country music. When? When is Danny blasting country music? What you not about to do, Tyler, is try to make it seem like Danny is really trying to make an effort with Preston. Please stop playing with us. Unless we see her bumping this bluegrass around the house, I don't believe it. But nonetheless, this whole entire interaction with this man is weird. It's absolutely strange. It's giving creep. It's giving stalker. Because according to him, he's heard all these conversations that Danny has had on her phone. He knows all her friends' names. He knows about Preston. Sir, you sound like a psychopath. No, she don't need to be interested in you. And then for the audacity of you to be like, oh, I know that you're dating Preston, but I think that you should meet me at a bar later. Sir, go sit your goofy looking ass down somewhere. So next we get this unnecessary phone call between Sabrina and Danny. And basically they are going to meet up or whatever at Karen's. And that is where Sabrina is planning on telling, the ladies everything that went down with Maurice. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Fatima ends up coming home to Zach. And she does not want to talk about all the drama that happened earlier in the day. And he goes on to talk about how he doesn't know if the shoes were on the reverse, would he be able to, tolerate all the things that Fatima has tolerated? Sir, we already know the answer. It's absolutely not. Please know that you will be whining and crying every chance that you got if you had to go through the things that she had to. But nonetheless, a lot of this conversation was just filled with fluff, if I'm going to be completely honest. I was just kind of like, okay, what else is going on? Now, this is where things got a little bit interesting for me. It was where Zach said that he couldn't eat or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, that's weird. Why would you say that? But according to him, he can't eat because there's a chance that his child might not be eating. Now, y'all, I know that we have already established that his baby mama Heather is supposed to be this terrible woman, but at no point was this child malnutritious. Like, at no point did we mention that she don't be feeding this child. I'm like, okay, so now we're going to add on another layer to make Heather just seem like she's the worst parent ever. Okay, fine. So Fatima's like, well, let's just go see him or whatever. I'm pretty sure, we could probably catch her before she goes to work. Let's go see your son. And I'm like, all right, fine. Let's go ahead and make that happen. But what I'm going to need from Fatima and Zach is to make a phone call to Heather before they just pop up over that lady's house. Like, come on. You can't just be popping up. You have to at least have some type of regard for this woman. But y'all, let's just go ahead and move on. So we got to get to Sabrina and Bio. This man shows up to her apartment and here's my thing. She goes on to tell him that Maurice decided that he was going to confess. So, of course, Bio is like, well, that means that he did it. Like, I knew something was off about Maurice. But she's like, no, he didn't do it. So he's like, okay, so why would he confess? Because that don't make no sense. And it doesn't. And Sabrina's response is, he did it to help. Girl, help what? Help who? Like, I'm sorry. The way Sabrina is acting right now, it is driving me up the wall. Because I'm like, how are you going to explain to this man that your friend went in to confess for a crime? Like, there's no way that Maurice looks good in this. I don't care who you explain it to. But y'all, we got to figure out a way to circle this around to Bio being homophobic, right? So, here we go. You have Bio basically saying that, he never trusted Maurice. And you can't trust somebody like that. And Sabrina's like, well, what do you mean by that? And he's like, I don't really want to get into it or whatever. Because he doesn't want to say that you can't trust somebody who's gay. He doesn't want to say that. But he does say, that Maurice wouldn't last a day at his country, wherever the hell that is, somewhere in Africa, right? Here's my thing. What that got to do with the price of tea in China? Like, what does him not being able to last a day in your home country, because if anything, they'll probably stone him, abuse him, or kill him because of his sexual preference, what they got to do with him committing a crime and stealing money, or at least attempting to rob a bank? None of those things correlate here. But I guess Tyler is trying to make it make sense. Failing, but he's trying to make it make sense. So, Bio basically goes on to tell her, like, girl, listen. The only reason why I put the money up is because you asked me. You asked me to put the money up for your friend, and I did. In any other circumstance, I would have kept my money in my pockets. And here's my thing. I think he would have kept his money in his pockets, period. Okay? Yes, he may like Sabrina, but can we be honest? This entire storyline is stupid as hell. He not even with Sabrina. There's no way you gonna tell me that this man is gonna put that kind of money on the line for a chick that ain't even his, and it ain't even to get her out of jail. Like, I'm sorry, this makes no sense. But nonetheless, you have Sabrina saying how, oh, it's not okay for Bio to feel this way. Girl, you want to talk about what's not okay right now? What's not okay is that you even asked him for the money to begin with. What's not okay is that you thought this man was going to give you this money and there were no other expectations. What's not okay is that your friend Maurice was bailed out of jail, and less than 5 days later, he decided that he want to go back up in there and confess to a crime that he didn't do. So if we're going to list all the things that's not okay, there's a lot more that could go around. But nonetheless, you have Bio basically saying that he don't like Maurice. Now, he won't say that he doesn't like him because he's gay. He just don't like him at all. I said, okay, fine. If that's what you want to say, sir. So now, of course, Sabrina, she's like, so is that why the lawyer, he didn't show up earlier? Now, Bio, he lets the cat out the bag that, listen, baby girl, that lawyer was supposed to be for you. You and Maurice are not a package deal, okay? And on top of that, he was basically not available because he had other work to do. And Maurice does not take priority anywhere in this situation. Like, I'm honestly confused as to how Sabrina doesn't understand that this man, he only is interested in you. He has no interest in what Maurice got going on. On top of that, let's not act like this favor that Sabrina has asked for is like, it's completely outrageous, okay? You over asking this man to bail out your friend. I think he's done enough. So I'm not even mad at Bio for saying that Maurice should get his own lawyer. Because again, y'all are not going to be a package deal. Each person needs their own lawyer in this case. So I'm not even mad at Bio. I'm really not. So he is trying to move on from this conversation. He's like, so do you want to go to dinner? And she kind of look at him and scoffs. And she's like, no. So because now she has a bad taste in her mouth from Bio. And now she's telling him, I don't think that we should do this. Basically referring to the idea of them possibly dating. Girl, if you don't play the game like you need to play this game, like Sabrina is getting on my nerves. I need for her to clock in. Because the brain, it ain't working right now. This man put up a bunch of money to get your friend out of jail. He done hooked you up with a lawyer. He's doing a lot. Okay, considering you ain't gave this man barely any time. So I'm not understanding how you now have such a bad taste in your mouth because he's letting you know straight up that he did all of this for you and he really don't care about your friend. And considering how many times Maurice has disrespected you, especially as of recently, I don't even understand why you're going so hard for Maurice. So now you can already tell that Bio is feeling some type of way because Sabrina is playing in his face. So he lets her know that, listen, I'm going to need a return on my investment. And now she's offended by the fact that, he said that it was an investment. Girl, you asked this man for, I want to say that it was over $1 million at this point. I'm going to need for Sabrina to get a break, y'all. I'm sorry. I know that some of y'all may like her, but this whole scenario is absolutely ridiculous. And the thing about it, though, is that Sabrina is acting real high and mighty and so sedity, like she would never stoop this low to sleep with a man for some money or whatever. I guess that's her vibe. But it's like, sis, be for real. What person is just handing out $1 million? Nobody. Not a one single person. You're not that pretty. No offense. I think that, she's a beautiful person. However, you're not that pretty that some man is just going to give you $1 million so that way your friend can get out of jail and you ain't going to have to do nothing. Be realistic, sis. So not only does Bio want to sleep with her, he also wants to marry her. I feel like we all saw that coming. Now, what I did not expect was for him to say that she will be one of many of his wives. I said, okay, fine. That's the storyline that we going with, Tyler. So he basically told Sabrina, listen, when I gave you that money, that was our contract. Because according to Bio, in his culture, that when a man gives a woman or her family some money, that means that this woman is promised to him. Now, Sabrina, I'm going to need for you to take that shocked look off of your face and say, well, nigga, in my culture, that's not what we do. I don't owe you nothing. At least try to stand up for yourself, Sabrina. I'm going to need for you to get a little backbone and at least fight against this man. To say, listen, I'm not doing all the things that you're talking about. We never signed any type of paperwork. So you can't hold me to that. Like, ain't no way my next line after that man told me that would have been, what are you talking about? Absolutely not. But y'all, that was the episode. Let me know what y'all thought about it. I cannot believe I've been talking for over 40 minutes. But y'all, yeah, let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Are we glad that Sistas is back? The next episode, it looks really interesting. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.